Alright, I'm going to show you another way to solve a system, and this way to solve a system is what's called a matrix. And we'll be doing a whole unit on matrices sometime in January or February maybe. So first of all, to solve a system with a matrix, you have to have all your variables on one side, and I do over here. I have all my variables over here on the left, and all of my plain old numbers over here on the right. And what I have done is I have stacked all my terms on top of each other. My x's, my y's, and my z's. And that'll just make things a whole lot easier for you. Alright, so first of all, the function on the calculator that helps you solve a matrix is under the matrix function. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to get to a matrix function. If you go to your calculator and you hit the second button, and if you look up here next to the x to the -1 in blue, it says matrix. So you hit matrix. And here's what it looks like. And we'll use some of this stuff later. Right now we're just going to use the math. So you arrow over to the math and you're going to go down to where it says RREF. It's the one that has two R's. RREF. Alright, now what we're going to do is, once they have that up, we're going to pull up a matrix. Alright, so to pull up a matrix, or the way we're going to do it is, and create one, is we're going to hit the alpha button and then the zoom button. And look here, it says MTRX. That stands for matrix. Alright, so matrices have dimensions, how many rows and how many columns there are. Our rows is our equations. So we have 1, 2, 3 rows. Whoops, can't see that, can you? 1, 2, 3 rows. So we're going to scroll arrow up until we move to 3, get our box around 3, and hit enter. So that gives us 3 rows. And then our columns are how many sets of numbers do we have? We have our x ones, our y terms, our z terms, and our plain old numbers. So we have 4 columns. So we're going to change the column row to 4. So I've arrowed over. I'm going to go down to 4 and I'm going to hit enter. Now once I've done that, I'm going to go down to box around OK and hit enter and OK. Now I got a matrix there with 3 rows and 4 columns. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter all my coefficients. I'm trying to find a place where you can see that. So here we go. So first of all, my coefficients here, and I'll put this 1, 2, and 3 a little bit closer. Alright, so I'm going to start with my x coordinate here. Don't have a number in front of the x. And if I can figure out where my blue marker is, here it is. It has a 1 in front of it. So right here, I'm going to put a 1. I'm just putting in my coefficients, sign included. In front of this y, there's no number, but it's a 1, so I'm going to put in a -1, and make sure you put the negative in there. In front of the z, it's 1z, so I'll also put a z again. And then finally my answer, which is here a 3. Then I'm going to go down, and I'm going to do the same thing in the second row. I have an x here, and it's a 1x, so I'm going to put a 1 in front of it. And if there are no y's, I have no y's, so I have a 0 there for y's. That shows me that there's no y's there. And then finally a 3 for my z, and 6 is my plain old number. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I have no x's there, so I have to leave it as a 0. Then I go over to my y's, and I have 1 y here, so I put a 1 in there. And then that is a -2 in front of the z. And then finally that's a -1. Alright, now once I have all my entries into the matrix, I hit enter. And let me bring you over here and show you what my answers are, what it looks like. Alright, so here is and this is what it has to be in this format. You have to have these numbers, 1s along the diagonals here, for that to be for you to get an answer. If you don't have 1s along that diagonal, if you have other numbers in there, your answer is either infinite solutions or no solutions, one or the other. All right, now if you remember, this was my X column, this was my Y column, this was my Z column. And finally, I have these three numbers here, 3, 1, 1. So you'll notice I have a 1 in the X column, so that means 1X is equal to 3. So my X is equal to 3. Then down here is where I have 1Y, so my Y is equal to 1. And finally, a 1 in the Z columns means the number across from that is my solution for Z, so it is equal to 1. So my solution to this one is what's called, since I have 3 answers, it's called an ordered triple. My X is 3, my Y is 1, my Z is 1. So that is my solution. You may see it written like this. Whoops, X is equal to 3, Y is equal to 1, Z is equal to 1, or you're most likely going to see it in that format, an ordered triple. 3 solutions. So this is my X, this is my Y, this is my Z. And that's how you use a matrix to solve a system of equations on the calculator. And if it's not in slope-intercept form, this is what I would prefer to use. And it's the quickest, one of the quickest ways to solve a system of equations, which you will see on your exit exam.